Hey, what's happening? Happy Saturday, folks. What's good? Another game, another day. I got some good music by my boy Wing. So yeah, we rolling. Hey, shout out to everybody. Happy Saturday. Hope y'all having a great day. Welcome back for another episode of Let's Talk Hoops. Man, it's nice outside. I got trying something different. I don't know. I think I may have had this once before. It's a Corona Sun Brew. Brew with real orange and lime peels. La cerveza más fina. Let's see. It's kind of nice, a little sweet, but refreshing on a day like today. Nice and sunny out. Supposed to get some storms, so we'll see. But in the meantime, between time, let's talk about this league, man. We back another week. Week was good, so now we're setting ourselves up for the playoff run. We had a lot of good games, but first I want to talk about Tatum. Tatum came back last night. I was a little surprised. One, I'm surprised he came back. Two, not only did he come back, he started, played 27 minutes, went 15, 12, and 7. Got a little slow start, but as the game went on, let me just adjust my camera here a little bit. As the game went on, he you could see him finally getting his groove. Got a little scared. He missed the dunk. Got a dunk in, knocked down some jumpers. His feel for the game was there. So he looked a little rusty, but you could still see he a player. His feel of the game was there. So I'm still a little scared. It's been 10 months, but with technology and the advances in medicine and in physical therapy, kid may be fine. So he has 20 games to get in a rhythm with this team, and then for Boston to make a playoff run. So we'll talk about Boston in a little bit, but welcome back, JT. Man, we're going to talk about these Hornets just a little, but this Hornets team, man, I keep telling y'all, they're exciting, they're fun to watch. They beat the brakes off the Celtics the other night, and they actually beat the Celtics at their own game. They shoot just as many threes as the Celtics, but they shoot them better. Between Lonzo and his step-back one-footer, Kai Kneppel, Brandon Miller, Miles Bridges, Diabate, the team is fun, and I just enjoy watching them. So they even, tell you what, they're catching on because they actually, I think this week, they got a prime time slot. So, I got the package, so I've been watching them on Prime, but they actually get a prime time game, so people are becoming aware, man. So shout out to the Hornets, man. But as far as the week, we had some games, man, that are queuing up for potential playoff matchups. Could be some final matchups. And I'll just run through a few of them. We had the Knicks and the Spurs. The Knicks, we'll talk about the Knicks too. The Knicks are, you don't know who's gonna show up with the Knicks. They beat the Spurs 114-89. Then they whooped the Nuggets last night, 142-103. Playing well, but this was the first game for the Nuggets. Everyone is back. Cam Johnson played yesterday. Aaron Gordon played. Braun was in the lineup. Murray and Joker. So this may be the first time since the beginning of the season they had this starting five together. So let's watch what they do over the next 20 if they stay healthy. Cavs, Pistons. Pistons had a rough week. Cavs beat them, and they lost to the Cavs, and the Cavs didn't have Spider and Harden playing. This is exactly what the Pistons cannot do. They're getting they're in first base about 5 games, and people still don't give them enough credit. So they can't lose games like this. Thunder, Knicks again. Knicks played well in this one. They lost by 3. Had a shot at the end of the game as buzzer, missed it. But again, could be a finals matchup. We'll see. Spurs, Pistons, depending on where things go, this could be a finals matchup. Hope not. Spurs put it on them, man, and I think this is one. Spurs are just a bad matchup for the Pistons, and Wemby's a problem in itself. He had Durham, man. He makes Durham work. So I'm not sure about that one. But so we had some good games, man. We had some games. We're starting to see every game matters now as we get into this stretch of 20 games. Every game's matter. Playoff races are close. If you look at the West, OKC has a 2-game lead over the Spurs. Detroit has some cushion, but then when you get in the next level, talking about 3, 4, and 5, and we won't even get into 7 through 10, but 3, 4, and 5, they're separated by a game in the East. So between Cleveland, Boston, who was it? Cleveland, Boston, and Cleveland and Knicks and the Celtics are separated by like a game and a half. So it's gonna be some good stuff going on the next few weeks. It is not bad. It's kind of sweet though. So with that said, let's just jump into it, right? So Detroit is leading the East. They're up. They got a 4-game lead. Won 7 out of 10. They got a 4-game lead over the Celtics. Now, a lot of the comments about the Pistons have been, what are they without Cade? And Cade had a couple of rough games and the team struggled. So, of course, that gives them ammunition to say, all right, this is a one-man team. All right, maybe so. But let's not forget, they've had a solid hold on first place all season long. They own the Knicks. They've beaten the Knicks twice. They split with Boston. They played the Cavs 4 times, split with the Cavs. They've beaten OKC once. They play OKC next week. And they've lost to the Spurs twice. So, I mean, if you think about the teams that are contenders, Detroit can hold their own. So I'm not ready, even though they're a one-man team, Cade's the leader, these other guys are more than capable of supporting Cade. And you think about a 6-7 game series, Cade's not going to have 6 or 7 bad games in a row. He's going to figure it out. So if you're banking on that to beat them in a series, then you got problems. So I'm still running with Detroit to come out the East. I know people say they're not ready. They, like I said, they're a one-man show. But tell me who is. Are the Knicks? I'll talk about them in a second, but the Knicks are just too inconsistent for me. I don't think they have it. Now, what scares me now more than anything, one, because they've been there before, is the return of Tatum. The Celtics have fought all year, and when you have guys that step up throughout the year, it kind of poises you. You get your bench is ready to respond in the playoffs, right? Because these guys have gotten minutes they normally wouldn't get. So you've seen guys, Pritchard has been developing the last few years. He's turned into a very, very solid player, right? Then you got other guys, Hauser, Garza. They traded for Vuk. That was huge. But now I just saw this morning, Vuk's going to be out for 3 weeks. He had some surgery on his thumb or finger or something. So Vuk is out 3 weeks. But when he comes back, he'll be ready for the playoffs. You're going to get more from Vuk than you got out of Horford and Porzingis the last few years. So I'm excited for the Celtics. I think they're going to make a run in the playoffs. If anybody is poised to beat Detroit and Tatum stays healthy, it would be the Celtics. Because they have championship pedigree. Like I said, they've been there before. They know what it means. Even though they're not third in the rankings, only reason I put Cleveland number 3 is because of the two-headed monster. And I know that's being hypocritical against Detroit, being number 1, but they have 2 guys that can just flat out score. This is not your average 2-hit. These guards can easily average 30 a game. Do I believe they are a championship team? No. I just think when you add Harden, for whatever reason, whatever Harden brings with him, man, it just doesn't equate to a championship. Maybe things will turn around in Cleveland, but I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Cleveland will make some runs. They won some games, but they lose games they shouldn't lose. And then, they got the Celtics tomorrow, so that's going to be a big test. They play the Celtics at noon tomorrow. They got an easy the rest of the month. They play the Mavs twice. They got the Bulls and Lakers. So they're gonna win some games. Celtics just better not lose to give up that position. And then the Knicks. Knicks had a good week. I just don't believe in the Knicks. I just don't. I don't know why. Maybe just because it looks like they always get there and it's been 70 years or whatever. They beat the Spurs. They beat the Nuggets. They only lost to OKC by 3, so they had a solid week. And they've been healthy for the most part. I think Mitchell Robinson has to come back. For the most part of the season, the Knicks have, their core has been healthy. But maybe it's Cat. I'm not sure what it is about them, but I'm just not a believer that they're a championship team coming out the East right now. The rest of the East, Toronto, Philadelphia, not contenders. If anybody you want to watch the Hornets. They're sitting at the 10 spot now. That's how well they played. They could be a problem for somebody coming in at a 6 spot if they can make their way through the play-in games. You don't want to see them, and I'll be honest with you. You might not want to see them because they can just score. And they actually play defense. They have rim protectors. They play good defense, interior defense. So they're going to be a spoiler. They're not a championship team, but they're going to make somebody's playoff run very hard if they kind of advance through the play-in series. So that's the East. Like I say, I'm still leaning on Detroit. We'll see how the Celtic team looks over the next 2 weeks. Tomorrow's going to be a big game against the Cavs. Let's see how they play, how Tatum comes back. That would be, no, he'll get a day off. So play Friday, he'll have a day off today. He'll come back Saturday. I'm assuming he'll play. They talked about him maybe not playing back-to-back. So let's see what this Celtics team look like tomorrow. I think everybody will be back for the Cavs, so we should be at full strength. So it'll be an interesting matchup. So now when you get over to the West, similar to the East, OKC has held this for the season, but it's getting tight. They won 4 in a row, but the Spurs are right there. The Spurs are 2.5 games behind, and they're not letting up off the gas. Man, Wemby is having there could be some arguments for Wemby being MVP. I could put some arguments together because without him, this team is good, but he's just different, man. He's something we've never seen before, and he's playing like it. He's coming into his own. And the Spurs just have depth. When you look at it, you take a guy like they drafted Dylan Harper number 2. Dylan Harper will probably start on the rest of the teams in the NBA right now. But he still makes an impact as a rookie. But that's how deep they are. Had a good week, beat the Knicks, the Pistons. They got a tough week coming up. They got the Rockets, they got the Celtics, they got the Nuggets, and they got the Hornets over the next 2 weeks. So I think they have everything. One of the things they're talking about with the Spurs is experience. They got great coaching. This young guy is very good. So I like the Spurs. I think they can turn it on. Could they get to the championship? I think so. They played OKC very well this season. What does it mean in a 4-game series at full health? And then it comes down to experience. OKC's been there before. They're defending champions, right? But at some point, you got to get over that hump. So this could be the season they get there and they get knocked out in 7. They get far for the Western Conference Championship. Who knows? But I think they have a good shot. And if OKC loses a couple of games, the Spurs could easily find themselves leading the West and coming out with the number 1 seed. So let's watch it. I'm still a Nuggets believer. They're healthy now. So the next 20 games for the Nuggets is going to say a lot. They probably won't get to the number 2 seed unless they go on some crazy 10-0 run. But this is not a team, if at full strength, you want to see in the playoffs. Now, I don't think, and I'll be honest with you, I don't think the Cam Johnson trade panned out. He can't shoot like Michael Porter, and that's one of the things they're missing right now. They're not shooting the ball like they did when Michael Porter was there. And when you have that type of shooting, it opens up the floor a little bit for Joker to operate. And right now, we're not seeing that. So maybe Cam got 20 games to figure it out, get himself back in the groove to really help this team and make a playoff run. They had a tough week. They lost to the Wolves, and we'll talk about the Minnesota. They're playing now. They're down 10. Minnesota's in the conversation now. They've been on a roll. They're sitting at number 4. And he's another one, man. He'll get some MVP votes. There's just so many guys playing well, but he'll get some votes. But that picking up AO, I hate that the Bulls let him go. That's been a help for them. You know, they had an aging Mike Conley. Now you get a fresh guard in there, a bigger guard, and he's helping defensively. You put him next to Ant, your backcourt's catching hell with the 2 of them back there defending. And they have a light schedule, too, for the rest of the week. I think they got the Thunder. That might be their biggest game over the next 2 weeks. So watch Minnesota. I don't feel that they're going to go. They're probably second-round exit. It's just teams are tough in the West. But I got them above the Rockets right now. And the Rockets are sort of the Knicks of the West to me. I just don't believe they can be consistent enough to win a championship. Even though they have KD, they have Segun, they got some great players. But I think in this case, we really see the point guard by committee for them just didn't work this year. You know, in hindsight, they probably should have gone out and tried to find a general. You know, nothing against Thompson. I'm sure he's been playing great. But you need that. Reed Shepard had 30-something the other night. He's more of a scorer than a true point guard. But next year, when Fred comes back, this team is definitely something to reckon with. A lot of talent. I'm assuming KD is going to stay there. He's not going anywhere. So let's see with the Rockets. But I really, we're looking at it. We said OKC, the Spurs, Nuggets, Minnesota, and the Rockets. The team to watch, like I said, I with the Nuggets being healthy, I want to see how they play out these next 20 and can they stay healthy, because they were hot when they came out. Aaron Gordon was playing great ball. OKC and the Spurs just gotta don't lose games you're not supposed to. Like, you can't go somewhere like down to Utah and lose a game to Utah. Like, you got to win every game. Like, you're gonna have some close games. Like, that'll be understandable to lose, but you can't lose games where you're to non-playoff teams or non-ranking teams. So let's see how that plays out. But right now, that's what it's looking like in the landscape of things. Like I said, if anything, the East is probably going to have more movement than the West, because those 2, 3, and 4 teams are so close. And they play a lot of head-to-head matchups over the next few weeks. So we'll see how it goes. Then we get over to... So I solved the MVP and some of these other end of the season accolades. So here's my fix to the 65 games. It's gonna be something that we'll have to evolve with. For all my data analytics folks, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna look at, opposed to 65. So I don't know if this number will go up or down. So maybe I'll test it over the next week or two. We're going to look at the average number of games played over a 5-year period. But we're going to take this number of games played, and I thought about this. I think we'll use the top 2 contenders for any award. Whoever finished first and second, let's look at their games played over a 5-year average, and that's the number for the next year. So this number could fluctuate every year. And then we take that number, because it's unrealistic. Things happen. And maybe there's a ceiling where you say at 50, you can't go below 50. Like, you're missing way too much of the season. So maybe the number, you can't go below 50, but anything above that or something like that. But I think that's what we look at. And then that gives us some more realistic feel, and it accounts for some injuries or players some injuries last longer than others. It's going to happen. But this would give you some cushion in that space. So y'all let me know what you think. But I think that fixes it. Because right now, there's really a scenario where Cade and maybe even Wemby could walk away with the MVP, because SGA and Joker were being eligible, right? Because right now, with all things stay the same, Joker only has 1 game left. SGA has a few. All things stand out as they are, is SGA's to lose. So he'll get MVP. Joker's very close. Very close. 28, 12, and 10, leading the league in rebounds and assists, which is crazy for a center. Second time he would average a triple-double. SGA is just SGA. I think he's had like 100-something plus 20-point games over the last 2 to 3 years or whatever. Some ridiculous number. Team is in first place, defending champs. They've had a great season. Started off amazing, kind of leveled off. But he's 1. I think Joker's 2. I still got Cade in there 3. Like I said, Detroit's been number 1 all season. And everybody you talk about Cade's the only reason. Well, if he's the only reason, that's MVP type caliber, right? And then Wemby's gotten San Antonio to a peak. We got to talk about him, right? And on the outside looking in is the Ant-Man. We just talking about Minnesota. Excuse me, he's single-handedly gotten them, and he has a good supporting cast around him. He's got a defensive player of the year. He's got Rando. He's got AO now. So he's got some talent. DiVincenzo. So he has players. So, but I still think it's SGA's to lose. Rookie of the year. So this one has gotten real hot over last week, and a lot of it is because of the success of the Hornets. And a lot of that success is Kneppel. Now, him and Coop are different players. Cooper is more athletic. He can do more things offensively. Like if I was watching the other night, and he's still playing a lot of point guard on this team. But now it's his team. Like, he's the primary go-to guy on this team. Kneppel is probably the second, third option on that team. Probably third. With LaMelo being the point, Then Brandon Miller's been playing crazy, and Miles Bridges. So you could argue he could be 4, but I think because of the talent around him, he gets a lot of shots. He's not the primary focal point. So he gets some great looks. Like, he's leading the league in three-pointers made. He's like at 225 or something. He's shattered all the rookie records. So a strong argument for him and the success of his team that he could be Rookie of the Year. Now, Coop has been out for about 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. Out of sight, out of mind. Before the break, before he went out, he was starting to go insane. He was averaging close to 30 over a 3 or 4 game period, probably 4 or 5 games. Let's see where he picks up. And, excuse me, if he continues that pace, it's going to be hard. I wouldn't want to be a voter because Knepel's not going to slow down. He shoots in volumes. He's shooting 8 or 9 threes a game. He's knocking them down, averaging 19. Coop's at 20. It's going to be a tough vote. I still like Cooper just because I think he's had to carry a heavier load. He had more adversity over there. He's playing out of position to start the season off, so his learning curve was a little different. But the things that happened in Dallas for him were big picture. Like, Jason Kidd's probably turned him into a better ball player than he'll ever see. Like, this year has been instrumental for his growth and the player that he's going to become. Like, he's probably learned a lot that time at point guard. You see the game differently as a point guard versus a wing. So I'm still riding with Coop. We'll see. The other guys have been playing great. VJ's up there. Fears is up there. McQueen. All these guys, very good rookie class. So I still go with Coop. So that's about it for today, man. We're rolling into this thing. Like I said, we got the Magic Wolves on. Tomorrow we got the Celtics. Celtics, Cavs. We got the Rockets, Spurs later in the week. So we're going to start seeing these matchups of, big playoff implications, big seeding implications. So let's just enjoy it. I haven't had a lot of luck lately, man, on my parlay, so I don't even know what to give you all. It's still solid, man. Anytime you can catch LaMelo or Knepel or even Brandon Miller at 2.5 or 3.5 threes, take the over. That's just how they shoot in volume. Take the over. Lately, I've been taking Cooper Flag rebounds. His rebounds, he's been hitting the over. I still ride with Michael Porter points. That 70% of the time he hitting. They keep him around 21, 22 sometimes. I don't know why. So there's a few of them, so you can take those and run with them as you may. But hey, as always, thank you. Another great Saturday. I enjoy y'all. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the games tonight, Sunday. Hope you all have a great week, and we'll be back with you next weekend. Later.